Welcome back to Cadillac XBC Bowling Center here in Waterloo, Iowa for the Fusion Realtors Community First National Bank Open. I'm Mike Flanagan from InsideBowling.com. We have the B squad now in front of us. It'll be 6 games for B squad. We had A squad this morning. Some interesting things about this squad before we go through the sponsors and everything like we normally do is the lane conditions playing quite tricky. It's 38 feet in length, and Cameron Doyle and Tom Hess were supposed to join me up here in the booth for this particular B squad, but they both bowled this morning, and because of a bunch of other competing tournaments this weekend, Joe has opened it up to have re-entries, and both Cameron, right there on cue, and Tom are not going to join me because they're both bowling. So they've elected to re-enter the tournament. I'm going to take you out to the lanes now, to lanes 21 and 22. On this squad, we have a total of 64 bowlers on this 38 feet in length, 28 milliliter oil pattern, 2.12 to 1 ratio. On the Pro Anvil Synthetics here, the Brunswick Synthetics at Cadillac XBC Bowling Center. Not Maple Lanes where this event is normally held, but it has not only been at Maple, it's also been here a couple of times since its inception back in 2011, September, when Matt McNeil won the tournament. Past champions McNeil, Derek Sapp, Nick Heilman, Jason Poley, Casey Murphy, Tom Hess, Matt Smith, Steve Keeler, Dave Barris, Vince Biondo, and Chris Pearson, past champions at the Fusion Realtors Community First National Bank Open. 2 a year it's been for a while now, February and September each year. And this tournament would not be possible without Fusion Realtors, Community First National Bank, and also our other sponsors that we have. You know, the Waterloo Convention and Visitors Bureau bucks up for this in a big way and helps bring these bowlers in with added prize money from the Convention and Visitors Bureau. Also, Budweiser, the Kingpin Grill, CFNB Mortgage, the Isle Hotel and Casino, where I stay every time I come here. I wouldn't recommend staying anywhere else. And Logo Infusion. And Logo Infusion has a special deal this weekend. If you want to save 20% on their website, you can go over to logoinfusion.com and enter in the coupon code GIBA18 to save 20% at Logo Infusion. And they also always list Inside Bowling as a sponsor, and for the first time ever, I can actually plug ourselves a little bit, because as of yesterday, we launched our first endeavor into merchandise, and we have about 30 different t-shirt designs that we think everyone will like. And if you'd like what we do and what we bring you from a coverage basis and all we do at Inside Bowling, we are starting to do some crowdfunding through our online merch shop right there on InsideBowling.com. Take a look around, and if you want to do that this weekend, you can save 15% with coupon code YouTube. Coupon code YouTube. You see it there on your screen. And that coupon code will live on forever. So if you're watching on an archived version of our broadcast, that coupon code still works. I talked about Nick Heilman being the champion of this event in the past. It was actually February of 2013 when Nick won, and he's on our screen right now. I'm going to take a moment to tell you who all is bowling on this squad. We do have 2 pairs for you. We have this pair 21 and 22, as well as lanes 15 and 16. On this squad, on lanes 3 and 4, we have Eric George, Brent Ritchie, and Andrew Willems. On lanes 5 and 6, we have Rob Amers, Jason Poley, who won back in September of 2013, Chad Nelson, and Dave Ullman. On lanes 7 and 8, we have Lucas Perdue, Steenhoff, Holden Luke. Although that sounds like it might be Luke Holden and they have it backwards, but I don't know that for sure. On lanes 9 and 10, we have some re-entries in John Marsala, Greg Young, Cody Brandow, and Alex Martin. On lanes 11 and 12, we have past champion Steve Keeler, who won in September of 2015, Zach Rhodes, Joseph Grondin, Brandon Martin. On lanes 13 and 14, we have Josh Fain, John Gould, Jason Bescher. And just because this makes a whole lot of sense, on these lanes 15 and 16 right here, we have Jason Robarge, Tommy Tikaz, Dakota Vostri. On lanes 17 and 18, we have Cameron Doyle and Christian Francis with Jacob Bedard and Gordy Kilpatrick. On lanes 19 and 20, we have Chris Hill, Tony Oliva. I just have Michalowski down here. I don't know his first name, and Sean Riley. On lanes 21 and 22, that's my cue. Here we are. Lanes 21 and 22, we have Nick Heilman, Greg Pitzel, Ryan Stubblefield, and Rob Warren. On lanes 23 and 24, we have Justin Corey, Mark Stenger, Tom Hess, and Steve Taylor. Hess has won this event back in 2014. Light Blessing, Lance Rockwell, Mike Macau, and Eric Smith are on 25 and 26. On 27 and 28, Brandon Dodge, Billy Hilbert, Brent Boho, and Jordan Chavez. On lanes 29 and 30, we have Dave Barris, who won in February of 2016 with Dave Lubinsky, Chad Moss, and Troy Schaefer. On lanes 31 and 32, we have Packy Hanrahan, Mitch Houpe, Devin Bidwell, and A.J. Chapman. It's an interesting pair to watch. On lanes 33 and 34, we have Drew Balta with Sean Rangel, Adam Morse, and Jamie Rangel. And rounding out this squad on 35 and 36, we have Brian Banich, Jonathan Shallow, Andy Bulow, and Chad Svensson. That takes you through the 64 bowlers on this B squad qualifying at the 2018 February event of the Fusion Realtors Community First National Bank Open here at Cadillac XBC Bowling Center. Once again, if you're just joining us, it's a 38-foot in length pattern, 28.53 milliliters of oil on the lanes, a 2.12 to 1 ratio, which if you don't watch bowling at all and you're just a novice and you're starting to pick up the game and you have no idea what that means, what it means is if you throw the ball out to the right on your typical league shot, it will hook because there's no oil. And if you miss left, it typically will not hook and keep you around the head pin because there's a bunch of oil. Well, at this event, that is not what it is. It's pretty much flat oil completely across the lane at no more than a 2 to 1 ratio from board to board, which means scoring pace will go down. There will not be as many strikes as reflected in our A squad. And I can take a look at our A squad for you, and if you want to follow along and look at what I'm looking at, and hopefully I have an update here. After A squad through 6 games, Kenny Calkins III is our tournament leader at plus 110. Troy Fuller is in second at plus 106. Quentin Bolin in third at plus 104. Fourth is Michael Coffey at plus 101. Ken Duffield is in fifth at plus 98. Sixth is Zach Wolfel at plus 96. Seventh is Brian Halen at plus 88. Eighth is Tom Hess at plus 80, but Hess elected to bowl again. And Cameron Doyle is in ninth and elected to bowl again at plus 64. Chris Pearson is in 10th at plus 38. And keep in mind, Chris Pearson won the last Fusion in September of 17 at Maple Lanes. Those standings are available on InsideBowling.tv. We also do have an interactive chat going on. I want to give a shout out to Kimberly, who is watching the stream and also helping with our social media promotion. She's being active on Twitter currently, and I appreciate the help there. I also took a photo of Cameron Doyle just a few minutes ago, and I'm going to get that updated on social media as well. It's a funny picture of Cameron. Bittersweet that he had to re-enter the tournament. Check in on the chat. Want to say hello to Dennis Hacker, Fred McGee, Bobby Schmidt, James Rutherford in the chat as well. Dave Justice, Jeremy Salen. I want to give a shout out to Jeremy, who says, "Hey Mike, congratulations on the 10,000 subscribers. You know, there was a lot of support around that 10,000 number, and I can't wait until we get to 100,000, because then we're really going to have some support on that thing." But boy, I'll tell you, it was very, very humbling to get to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. It made me feel really, really good about the work that we've done. And it's not just me. I mean, it's all these guests that sit in the booth with me. It's all the people that sacrifice their time to come with me on a bowling trip. You know, Matt Turek has spent a lot of time on these airwaves. Jeff Carter and Dennis Hacker have spent a lot of time on these airwaves. And it's all the people that have helped build this all along. I know that I take a lot of the credit. I'm the front man for this, and I'm the one that continually ends up being, you know, in the booth all the time. But boy, we've had Bo Burton on our airways. We had Dave Lamont with Bo Burton before Dave Lamont was the voice of the PBA. I've worked with Randy Peterson in this booth. And it's just been an absolute joy all along the way, and we're looking forward to doing more of it for many, many years to come. You know, we started out on the Ustream platform, then we moved to live stream, and then we moved over to YouTube about 3.5 years ago. And just think if YouTube would have had a streaming service 8 years ago, where we'd be with the numbers. So we're really just trying to play catch up. And we're also just really trying to grow our brand and what we're doing, because we have a lot of ideas that we want to do. And it was really never part of the business model to try to generate funds and revenue from our supporters to be able to do much more. But now that we've met this threshold, and I've been thinking about it for a long time, it's time we get into the e-commerce space. And on our website now you see a bunch of different T-shirt designs that are really cool, available in a bunch of different colors. We've got a cool coupon code for you, 15% off. You can save with the code YouTube. And the sky's the limit. We're looking forward to the future. We want to start creating more meaningful, cool content. And we also want to get back in the tournament game. We've canceled the IB Open. I haven't formally announced it, but I've said it on the stream multiple times. We want to make sure we have an event that's a must bowl, that doesn't compete against other events, to where it's just not even a question you got to come bowl our event. If you see me run a tournament personally again in the future, it's going to pay 20 grand for first, and we're not going to sweat paying the 20 grand based on entries. We're going to have the money up front, and the only way we're going to be able to do that is by people supporting what we're doing, and we're just starting with this merch shop. So if you enjoy our broadcast and you like to wear T-shirts ever, just go on our website, use our coupon code, pick out a couple of cool designs. If there's something there that you don't like, just wait, because we'll be adding more designs every week. It's our way of just kind of getting into that space, and it's our way to take what we do to the next level. So if you have an opportunity, that would be awesome. Some of you have already purchased some things this weekend, and boy, it means a lot to us. And even if you can't, or you're not interested in that, just by subscribing to our YouTube channel and hitting a like down below when we broadcast, and by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, that's enough all in itself. Just if you just did that's great. So really, really do appreciate that. We have 6 games of qualifying for you today here on the B squad, and then we have a C squad qualifying coming up tonight at 6:15, where we'll have more re-entries and whatnot. And then we'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:30 in the morning for 6 more games, the cashier's round. 1 and 3 will advance to that. And then after that, we will then have what we call a bracket style, 10 versus 7, 8 versus 9. The winners of that will then be put with the 5 and 6 qualifiers. They will bowl a bracket, then bowl each other to determine the 5th seed. I know that's a lot, but that's what happens. And then the top 4 are seeded into the step ladder to go up against whoever becomes the 5th out of those people. So a lot of action still left this weekend here from Cadillac XBC Bowling Center. And we're continuing to watch lanes 21 and 22, where, as I mentioned before, we have Nick Heilman, who was the champion of this event back in February of 2013, the 3rd Fusion. I can't believe this thing's been going on since 2011. 7 years of this event. We got Nick Heilman, Greg Pietzel, Ryan Stubblefield, and Rob Warren. And over on lanes 15 and 16, we have Jason Robars with Tommy T-Cats and Dakota Vostri. I'm going to go into our split screen now so we can watch both pairs. Check in on the chat. Dennis Hacker says, hi, Kimberly. Thanks, James. Fred, thank you. Corey, what's up, man? And 22 Catch 22 says, and I'm not repeating, it's actually his name in the chat, his or her name, 22 Catch 22. I really like the looks of this bowling center. The dark gutters and black pin area looks a lot better than the swirling bowling ball clouds. You know, I kind of like the look, too. It's very clean. Very, very clean. I want to give a shout out to Greg Young. You guys are just all extremely too kind. Greg Young, who bowled the tournament and is bowling right now, bought a T-shirt during the break from the website. I just saw the order come through. Thanks, Greg Young. Cameron Doyle hasn't, though, yet. Jeez. He's standing up here. Greg, is Greg Young still your best friend? Yeah, well, you were my best friend. Now he's my best friend. He bought a T-shirt on the break. Greg bought a T-shirt on the break. No, I don't. Well, I have some T-shirts, but it's all online, Cameron. I'm just giving you a hard time. Just go 180 over. Cameron and I, our relationship has improved greatly over the last couple of years. We've had some really fun times talking out on the road. Yes, most of which we can't talk about on air. Top secret. No, you're not in the way of anything. Just do not disconnect the cable. Cameron is my buddy. I really like Cameron a lot. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do this year on the PVA Tour. Yeah, Dennis makes a good observation. Big change on the leaderboard from A Squad Game 6. How are the leaders playing the lanes? Vostri is way out. Yeah, I mean, Hess bowled 160, 150 to end the squad. He was 140 over after 4. This pattern's playing. You can play it pretty much however you want. Although, in my opinion, I think the best look is out, and you stay out. And if you got to go to urethane, you go to urethane. But that's just, it's very early. I don't know if that's right. By the way, Hess has like a 5-bagger. I think Hess is going to go 200 over this squad. I'm just going to go ahead and just say it right now. Let's take a look at Dakota Vostri and how he's attacking this pattern. Dennis brought it up. I want to look at it. Way out. Looks good. I think that's a purple hammer. I don't know for sure, but it looks like a purple hammer. Urethane. What ball? Purple hammer? Yeah, it's a purple hammer. It's a purple hammer. It's just confirmed. So this pair will finish first. So we'll stay here, and then I'll take you over 21 and 2 for their 10th frame as they finish up. And I forget who it was in the chat earlier that said they didn't get a notification when we went live. If you're in the chat, I want to say it was Fred, but I don't remember. Would you let me know if you got a notification this time on your phone, sir, when we went live? And I mean, how great is that, too, when you don't know, especially with these live streams, with these tournaments running late, sometimes, or not on schedule, and you're sitting there by your computer and you're refreshing and you're refreshing and you're refreshing, and it gets so frustrating. Yeah, all you have to do is just subscribe to our YouTube channel on our app, and then hit the little bell for the subscription, like to be notified for sure. And then all of a sudden you'll just get a little ding on your phone and it says Inside Bowling is now live. And it saves you all that time of sitting there refreshing the screen. And you can like take out the garbage, you know, catch an extra 5 minutes of your favorite, you know, DVR program, fix yourself something to eat. You don't have to panic hitting the reset button every time. Are they live? Is my feed working? Simple. There's KD over there on the right. Some sports have Kevin Durant. We have Cameron Doyle. It's our KD. It's also KD Lang. It's never into KD Lang's music. If you are, don't worry about it. Jerry? No. No. Yeah. Builds it up. Okay. I didn't know that. I think Cameron genuinely feels bad that he made a commitment to be in the booth and he's got a bowl. So he's just hanging out by the booth, dipping these little tidbits of information to me. And the latest thing he just told me is that when he bowls, he sticks his tongue out all the time. Kind of like Jordan. Kind of like Michael Jordan. And I said that part, by the way, that Michael Jordan. But he didn't call himself Michael Jordan. I just want to set the record straight. So anyway, after a while, that area gets really red on his face. And years ago, he named it Jerry. And he feels Jerry coming out today. So we'll keep an eye on Jerry. Huh? Jerry has his own Twitter. Speaking of which, I was doing that status update earlier, and I need to finish it. I'm going to bounce out of here and take you over to our other pair here. All right, just updating some social media here. I'll get back in on the chat and get caught up here in just a second. I want to thank everybody for subscribing to the website. We've been picking up, or to our YouTube channel. We've been picking up subscribers all day long. Thank you. So I just now realized they changed the scoring on me for this squad. I was wondering why these scores looked all jacked up. I just don't want to put that large of a box on the screen. Okay, let me see what I can do here. It's just going to be this huge box. Let me see. Man, this is huge. I'm going to have to scale it down. 37%. Here's what I came up with. Fix the other one. They had 3 to a pair earlier today, and it didn't look like this. But that's okay. I'll get it figured out. Okay, that's what I got. Here's going to be my 2 different looks. There you go. Sorry about that. Should have caught that. I was wondering why it looks so weird. One game under our belts here. The first game always goes the fastest. Always got stuff moving. All right, get you guys set up. Game number 2 getting underway here. And you know what game 2 deserves, everybody? Let's go ahead and just wave the magic wand in the bottom right-hand side of the screen. Do me a favor. Take your hand and start pointing it to the bottom right of the screen and start waving your hand around it and watch what is going to happen before you. Ready? There it is. Game 2 of 6. And there's KD. Cameron Doyle is now on our screen. I told you he'd join us during this block. I just didn't know that it would be during game 2 while he was bowling. let's see. Mike, which Olympic sport do you do for 100,000? Luge, skeleton, or downhill skiing? Which one would I do for 100K? Oh, man. Luge, skeleton, or downhill skiing? Wow. Not skeleton. That one's out. I think I would do luge. I think I would do luge. Yeah. I think I would have to do luge. NBC Sports presents the Winter Olympics. Today it's downhill luge. With from North Ogden, Utah, Mike Flanagan leading the U.S. team. He's the favorite to win this year, everyone. And we'll have more coverage right after these messages. Let's see what else we got in the chat. Speaking of KD Lang, if you haven't heard her sing Hallelujah, you're missing out on something special. Okay, I'll check that out. My goal is bowling in the Olympics before I'm off the USBC board, and I'm not on it yet. That's good from Dennis. Ooh, Catch-22 wants to talk about stocks. We'll bring that up in a moment because we do need to discuss that. I feel bad for not knowing who is White Hair Dude. God bless him for competing at this level. White Hair Dude. Yeah, I know who you're talking about down there. You know what's interesting about his shirt is he has a old Storm shirt that's like a pro staff shirt. They used to have the bolt underneath the collar. He's bowling with Doyle. Gordy Kilpatrick, I believe is his name. Gordy Kilpatrick. Bobby Schmidt says, coming to you live from Waterloo, Iowa, the games of the 2018 Fusion Realtors Olympiad. Dennis stayed 2 blocks from the Mormon Temple 2 weeks ago. Dennis, if you were in Utah and I was in Utah and you didn't hit me up, unless you had just an absolutely exhausting work schedule, I'm mad at you. And I might ban you from the chat, actually. How's Tyler Vostry's brother bowling? I'm sure Dakota really appreciates that that description of Dakota. Dakota Vostry right now, he's on 19 and 20, which is right here by the booth, actually, and he's in game number 2. I think he had a good first game. How about game number 2 right now? Oh, that's the broken monitor. Spare strike from my vantage point. All right, let's see who I have. Oh, look, I have a past champion, Steve Keeler. I don't know what happened to my my cut here. Okay. Let's see. I have, looks like Steve Keeler. Bowling with Zach Rhodes, Joseph Grondin, and Brandon Martin. Derek Hines says that Gordy is a Waterloo legend. I believe he shot 300 at Nationals. Well, if that's the case, let's bring in the split screen and get old Gordo up on the screen. Right here. There's Gordy. Might be on the average leaderboard, Derek says. Dennis says I can't be mad at him because he got in at 2:30 p.m., worked from 5:30 to 9:30, and flew out at 6 a.m. You can't be mad at me. Okay, all right. I will not banish you to the black hole, Dennis. I'm going to tell you guys a little telltale fact. I hate qualifying. I absolutely cannot stand broadcasting qualifying. I hate it. With a passion. And you're probably thinking, okay, all right, dude. All right, we know you enough. What are you gonna say to redeem yourself? Oh, I got a good one, everybody. I got a good one. The only thing that keeps me through qualifying and signing up for this is the chat. You guys in the chat. Because that's all I do during qualifying is interact with you guys in the chat and try to keep my eyes open for stuff that's happening. And the other thing that I do is I BS with the bowlers. They stop by the booth and we have these side conversations and stuff that just go on that you hear bits and pieces of. And but that's what we do during qualifying. I'll post this to YouTube. It'll get 2,000 views. But I love interacting during this part of the tournament with you guys. It's the best part of the tournament as far as interaction. It's fun talking to the people in the chat. And I hope we don't ever get to the point that we're so big that I can't keep up with the chat. Because what I will probably do is I would probably just run a separate channel where all I'm doing is interacting with the chat, and I'll hire other people to do the broadcasting and broadcast how it's supposed to be broadcasted, and I'll just be hanging out in the chat, BSing with people. Because the chat is great. I mean, the chat is just the best. If you just watch the tournament and you don't get in the chat, you really should get in here. It's like a hot tub. You know, you're like, I don't know. I might be embarrassed, getting in the hot tub. I'll just hang out here and watch everybody listen to Jimmy Buffett and drink and feel warm and fuzzy. Get in the hot tub, everybody. Get in here. Jeremy says qualifying's my favorite part. I don't know everybody. Oh, look at that messenger for old Gordo. You see that? Yeah, but I'll tell you what, I absolutely love when it gets down to about, 24 players or less. I kind of know all their names by that point, and we can, present some sort of a broadcast that looks somewhat, professional and like we know what we're doing. Then I'll call some action when there's some wheat involved on the line. So, but yeah, and I don't really, that was probably the wrong word, hate qualifying, but I just don't know what to do with it. I don't know what the formula is for qualifying. Half of the time, I think what I should be committed to is, here we go into game number 2 qualifying, and moving into lanes whatever is so-and-so and so-and-so and this and that, and then I look at the sheet, and the squad things are wrong sometimes, and they don't have names on the back of their shirts, and I don't know little tidbits about everybody. So it's one of those things where, if I don't know who you are, I apologize. But the minute you do arrive on this channel and make a final or do something extraordinary, I never forget you, and you're mentioned forever. So it's almost like it should be your goal if you're a bowler, to do something extraordinary on my live stream, because I got a really good memory for the most part, and I'll remember you for whatever it was that you did. That will happen. Like, I'll tell you a guy today that I have learned from watching earlier today that I wouldn't have known his name coming in to the event, like really thinking about him. But it's Brian Halen. I know who Brian Halen is now from the first squad. After looking him up on collegebowling.com, two-handed style, can play out and in. That got my attention. So Brian Halen is now in my vocabulary of bowlers. But he wasn't before I walked through the door today. And that's nothing against his game, because he's got a great game, but I just cannot pay attention to a couple thousand bowlers that I run into at these events in a year. Just can't do it. I'm just not good enough. Can't do it. Let's see, you wonderful people in the chat. Let's see what we got. Can everyone hit the like button and share on social media to get more viewers and make this live stream top 10? Yes, Steven, that would be great. Thank you for the suggestion. Let's see. I'm playing poker while I watch. Thank you. Derek Hine is saying that Gordo's a super nice guy. Does Cameron start with his shirt untucked, or has that just happened? I think it just happens. What's a stream cost you to run? We could get into that in a minute. We also got to get into the stock tips. TOC match qualifying was great. Yes, the TOC match qualifying was good. Watching all the different bowlers is great. Just share it on Facebook. Thank you. Let's see. Tony Oliva is here. We had a discussion on the break. If you don't know who they are, just comment on how they dress. That's a good idea, Nick. It's not about the cash. It's not about the trophies. It's all about burning yourself into Mike's memory. That's pretty good. Joe Lacerdo says, Adam Levine would not be famous if it wasn't for Inside Bowling. That's true. Yu Darvish to the Cubs for 6 years, $150 million. No kidding. Wow. Is that confirmed? Eric Fritton, how's it going, buddy? Wish you were here as well. I think I'm caught up on the chat. No kidding. Darvish went to the Cubs, huh? Oh, that's interesting. Picked up a couple more subscribers here to the YouTube channel. Thanks, guys. This number is just climbing. Climbing like crazy. Also, we got 2 more orders in our online store with our merch that we're repping now. Support the channel by checking out our merch on InsideBowling.com. Oh, man. Oh, I wish I could share some things with you guys that comes through my phone. Oh, my gosh. You have no idea some of the things that get sent in to me. Oh, my gosh. That's why you got to come to these events in person. Let me ask the chat this, because this is a question I really, really, really should ask more often, is where are you guys from? And have I ever met you before? Like, seriously, Catch 22, you're in here, Bobby's in here, like, FF Bowler 300, you're in here all the time. Have I ever met you guys? Like, seriously. Sydney, yeah, here's another thing that sucks, is you spend so much time with me in this, watching this, right? And, like, you probably feel like you know me fairly well. Like, I see people type in Steak and Shake and all this other cool stuff, and it kind of tickles me a little bit to know that you know me from talking on these things. And, like, I don't know you. And I feel like I'm going to run into you in an airport one day, and you're going to walk up to me and be like, Mike, what's going on? And I'm going to feel so horrible not knowing you. But then when you say, hey, I'm Bobby Schmidt, Bobby says, the armpit of the Midwest, Rockford, Illinois. I said hello when I bowled the Fusion and you big-timed me. Dude, you got to just come out and tell me, hey, I'm Bobby. You might have Bobby Schmidt on your shirt, but if you say, hey, I'm Bobby Schmidt from the chat, then my mind's going to go somewhere else. Yeah, Greg, I've met you, buddy. Great job on the website, too, for giba-bowling.com. You've done a great job with that. Stephen Allen, Florida. I met you at the Junior Gold Ebonite Beach Party. So, like, you know, I'm busy working this beach party, and Steve, you introduced yourself to me, but, like, there's too much going on. I wish I could just sit down and, like, have dinner with each and every one of you and not do the typical, hey, I'm at an event where I'm going to meet, like, 5,000 people in a week, and then everybody just blends in. Like, I want to get better at that. Like, I don't know how to fix that. That's so funny, though. If I ever big-time any of you, trust me, this is not intentional. What I need you to do, and I'm making a demand here. If I had what's the guy's name? Nielsen from Taken. If I had his voice, if I could do an impersonation of that right now, I would talk it in his voice. But what I need you to do is I need you to walk up to me and say, hey, I'm in the chat all the time in your live streams. That immediately I'm going to say, oh, wow, okay, who is this? And then you can tell me, and I'll be like, oh, my gosh, what's going on? But seriously, like, if you just walk up and go, hey, Mike, how's it going? Appreciate all you do for bowling. I'm going to skim right over you because I hear that a lot. Bobby Schmidt, I bought you pizza in the booth like 4 years ago. Jesus, Mike. Which event? Which event did I have pizza brought to me? I can't remember. Brandon and Kevin are driving home. It's good to see you, Kevin. The old digitaltalk.com website used to have Kevin Duncan all over it all the time. I called it in from Rockford, either Iowa or St. Louis. That was you that did that. Well, thank you. I'm sure at the time I thanked you, but I can't remember what's going on with some of this stuff. Anyway, I just appreciate you guys. And the last tournament we were at, I had somebody in the chat that kept, it was a woman's name that just kept promoting the event. Kept telling everybody to like and subscribe like over and over again. Like, I don't think I could have done a better job of promoting the event than she did. All right, Steven. Well, you need to find me again. I don't remember her name. I need to fix a couple things here. Bear with me. That was fun, though, going off on the chat stuff. That was fun. Okay. Any lefties doing well? Folks want to know where are the scores. I know, that's why I've been wanting to be friends on Facebook. That's funny. Is there anybody in the chat that I have a pending friend request with that I need to go and accept? Let me know. I'll go find it. Can I go to 17 and 18? Not really. But what I can do is I can do this. I can go over here, and it gets you a little bit of 17 and 18 as we're finishing up. This oil pattern, as we've been talking about, is 38 feet in length, 28 milliliters of oil. It's a 2.12 to 1 ratio. Pro Anvil lane synthetics, very slick surface. Very demanding. Entry fee for is $150. Who's my pick for the TOC tomorrow, and how do I think the show is going to be? That's a good question. I'm working on that. And then we're going to do the stock tip thing. Now I got messages coming in telling me that people are missing Mardi Gras to watch this tournament. Now I feel bad. Stay neutral. All right. I'm working on this. Dennis Hacker, thank you. I just saw an email come through. Dennis Hacker just purchased some shirts. Thanks, buddy. You guys, we're gonna get to this. I'm gonna answer this question. I'm doing a little bit of research here. Okay. Here's what I got for you. Tournament of Champions, PBA Tournament of Champions, 1 o'clock Eastern, Sunday. In the first match, you've got Matt O'Grady against B.J. Moore. I picked B.J. Moore. B.J. Moore will go on to take on Belmo. And Belmo will beat B.J. Moore. And then Belmo bowls Andrew Anderson. And this is where it gets really, really hard for me. Because Belmo should beat Andrew. And then Belmo and Jesper bowl each other again. You know, and I think Jesper would get Belmo this time. I just kind of believe that. It's kind of due theory. I think they're equally matched. And, you know, the thing that sucks is I'm probably going to get labeled because Andrew has an E on his chest, that this is going to be a predictable thing. I put Anderson at 35% to beat Belmo, and he should be about 15 to 20% to beat Belmo. So I have him higher than the public. Andrew Anderson missed a major by a few pins last year and learned a lot from it, and we talked about it. Andrew Anderson also made an extra frame telecast. Andrew Anderson, through qualifying most of the time, has bumps in the road. He hit speed bumps that hurt him. At this event this week, he had not hit a speed bump, and down the stretch, he bowled a 300 to vault him into second position. He practiced at Bowling IQ in Detroit with Kurt Pelon. He bowled the Bradley and bowled phenomenal. Coming into the event, I thought he was sharp as a tack. Kurt Pelon bowled great at the Bradley, by the way, if you haven't watched that archive on InsideBowling. And that archive is hilarious because people were ripping on his clothing that he wore. They called him the janitor. And then he's got a picture of himself in a embroidered shirt, says the janitor on the back. I actually posted it on the YouTube feed in the community tab. You can check it out. It's hilarious. And that video sits at over 50,000 views, by the way, which is pretty big for us. But there's just something about Andrew that I really like. And I'll leave it at this with Andrew. Do me a favor and watch Randy Peterson's style. And then I want you to watch Andrew Anderson's style. And I want you to think 20 years later, what would Randy Peterson look like if he was coming up as a youth bowler? And I think Andrew Anderson is the modern-day Randy Peterson. I really believe that. And Randy Peterson went on to win, 13 times he's won on tour? Marshall Holman last year said on the broadcast that he picked Andrew Anderson to be the next breakout star on the tour. So I do think Andrew Anderson is in the right spot to do some really good things this year. Whether if it's tomorrow or not, I don't know. But I'm really high on Andrew Anderson. And I got to work with him on a broadcast at Junior Gold this year where he got to talk to the kids and host a talk show and do different things like that. So he's really comfortable on camera. He's had a lot of practice. And I don't think the nerves will get to him as much. So it's a great show because you've got Belmo and Jesper. EJ would make it a complete show because I believe EJ, Jesper, and Belmo are on a different planet right now compared to everybody else. But I'm anxious to see how Andrew performs tomorrow. I'll just leave it at that. And B.J. Moore is fantastic as well. Great player, great style. I like B.J. a lot too. Mr. Chapman, good to see you. Ernie Schlegel isn't on the show, right? Exactly. Do you guys see the resemblance between Andrew Anderson and and Randy Peterson a little bit. Okay, finishing up game number 2. You guys have seen the scores. A little bit all over the board. Possible 257 here for Joe Grondin. Kind of eyeing that up. Get my graphic built. We're going to talk stock tips. We're going to talk about that stock that I picked the last event. And I didn't know that people actually took my stock tips because I got about 5 text messages afterwards with people thanking me for the tip. And then something happened last week, and we're back at square one. But not upside down. We're going to talk about that coming up in game number 3. I know what happened after the last stock tip. There were plenty of men, which, by the way, were 85% 15 men to women watching the broadcast. Any ladies that are watching, thank you for dealing with us guys over here. If there's anything we can do to make our broadcast more female-friendly, let me know. But I'm sure it was, honey, let's go out to a nice meal tonight. Okay, no problem. That'd be great. What's the special occasion? Oh, nothing. I just think it's time to take you to dinner. Okay, thank you. Gronin's going to shoot 236, hopefully. So you go to dinner. You're sitting there. Everything's going great. Wine's flowing. Got the perfect dish. Everything's great. Dessert arrives at the table. You take a couple of bites. And I'm sure this happened after my stock tips. Honey, I've been thinking. Yes, Bob? You know our portfolio we have with our future investments? Oh, yes, it's performing so well. And we're trusted with Edward Jones? Yes. That one. I think we should pull out about 50% of our entire retirement. Well, why would we do that? Well, I was watching InsideBowling. And Mike, Mike on InsideBowling? No clue. Have no idea who you're talking about. But this is getting weird. Well, just trust me. He's a good guy. He told me about, how we've gone to the movies a couple times in the last year, and, we watch TV a lot around the house. Yeah. Well, they have this thing where you can go to the movies every day for $80 a year. And they just surpassed 1 million people that have subscribed to this, and they're predicting it's going to get to 5 million. You can buy stock in that company? And Mike told me that this is going to be it. So, honey, what I want to do is Monday I want to go to our Edward Jones office and pull out half of that and invest it ourselves in a Charles Schwab or Scottrade account. How does that sound? Whatever is remaining of the dessert or the syrup has now been moved from the plate to the man, and she is calling a cab ride home. So I'm sure that took place, so I'm looking forward to having things like that happen yet again as we move into the next game. Game number 3 underway. Got Steve Keeler. He was our 2015 September winner, and he was born and raised in St. Louis and lives in the Kansas City area now. I've known Steve for a long time. So my stock tip that I gave last time was on a stock symbol that is HMNY, and they're the company that's involved with MoviePass. And when I mentioned purchasing the stock, it was around $7.50 or so, and it climbed to 10 after the broadcast. And then it came back down around 9.5, and then out of nowhere we had this market collapse, and now it's pretty much back at square one. It's at 773 right now. So it's still a money maker since the time that I told you to invest, but and I still think it's going to rebound, and it's an excellent buy right now at 773. But I'm going to give a generalized stock tip to everybody right now, okay? What I want everybody to do is I want you to go ahead and pull out your cellular device, and I want you to open it up to the screen that you use the most. Okay? So I'm looking at my screen right now, and I see Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Google Hangouts, Google Maps, Dropbox, Google Drive, MailChimp, Shopify, Apple Music, Podcasts, Google Chrome, Hive is the name of the app, Photos and Camera. That is my main screen. Would you guys do me a favor in the chat as part of this exercise for the stock tips? And just type in like your 3 most used apps that you press the most on your phone. Type into the chat. I'll give it just like a minute or so. Just type in which apps on your phone you use more than any other apps. And I'm not counting the actual phone button nor the text messaging one or the email. I want to just strictly go with what are your apps that you use. Type those into the chat. I would appreciate it. What are you doing, Joe? You want to sit in? Yeah, come on up. Yeah, sit here. Yeah. I think they're feeling sorry for me. Joe Engelkist joins me in the booth. Joe, you've joined us right in the middle of my stock tip of the day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you have. You've walked right into this. And then we'll get back into the tournament here. But I gave a stock tip at the last tournament that I did, and it was performing extremely well, and then the market crashed and it's back to even. But it was doing well. It was up like 30-something%.
Cool.
So they're asking for what the stock tip is now.
Sure.
And I already told the story that I'm sure many men are going to be taking their wives to dinner tonight to give her a nice meal and everything, and then talk about how they're investing their money in the future and how they want to pull it out of their Edward Jones account and invest it all into whatever stock tip I'm about to give. And how whatever syrup is left from the cheesecake or whatever is going to end up on the person that is listening to the broadcast, and then they are going to have, the wife's going to take a cab home or just take the car home, and he'll have to take a cab home. So the question that I asked the chat was, which apps do you use most on your phone? And we've got Facebook, Snapchat, Amazon, Podcruncher, CNBC, Amazon, Facebook, Instagram, Gmail, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Google Chrome, YouTube, Netflix. Okay?
Okay.
The people in the chat just answered my stock tip.
Okay.
Human beings all over the world are being influenced, and they're changing how they spend their time and their effort in anything they do.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So if all of a sudden you are sitting around and you decide all of a sudden, I'm going to go download this app, and you see yourself using it more than you did the week before or the week before that, you need to find out if there's a stock, if it's publicly traded, and invest in it.
Sure. Makes
Okay?
sense. Makes sense.
So I used to go to the movies quite frequently with Kim. We'd go to the movies quite a bit, right? We'd go probably, I don't know, 10 times a year or so. She bought the movie pass for us where you get to go every day for $80 in a year. You can go every day if you want.
Wow.
So we started going to the movies more. It changed our habit. Okay? Movie pass is publicly traded. That's what I gave as my stock tip. And it went from mid sevens to $10 and, now it's back around $7.70 or whatever. But the point of the matter is, if you go and you look at these charts, and since I got Joe up here in the booth with me now, and we will get to bowling here in just a second. But, Joe, I want to show you some of these stocks that they just typed into the chat. If you type in Twitter, what has Twitter done in the last year? Tell me what that chart looks like.
It's climbing quickly.
Okay. All right. Let's look at Shopify over the last year.
Yeah. Up. Yeah.
All right. Let's look at Netflix in the last year.
Whoa. Big jump.
Let's look at Facebook in the last year.
Same thing.
It looks like that Price is Right game when the yodeling guy goes up, then he eventually falls off the cliff, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's look at Apple. Up and down, but
still
until this crash, up.
Yep.
Look at what Best Buy's done in the last 6 months, and they sell a lot of these products.
Right. Yeah. Nice.
They've reacted nicely. Amazon was brought up, and I used to have them in my stock tracker. I'm going to add them right now, but I guarantee you when we go on and we look at Amazon, we're going to see a similar trend.
Mm-hmm.
What has Amazon done?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Snapchat. Snapchat started extremely high. It was way too high of a public offering.
Yeah.
But Instagram killed them because they repeated what they did. Well, Facebook owns Instagram. And that Facebook chart is pretty beefy. So that's my stock tip to everybody. Get yourself a portfolio put together, diversify it, and invest in things that are growing. Netflix.
Right.
Facebook, which is also Instagram. This movie pass thing. Anything that's changing consumers and their attention. Anything consumers are focused their attention in on is going to monetize and do well. Google's another one that's doing extremely well.
Right.
Think about it. In my life, I use Google Drive for my business to share files.
Right.
I use InsideBowling.com as my email address, ran through the Google client, through Gmail.
Yeah, me too.
YouTube is owned by Google. We are broadcasting today on YouTube.
Right.
That's my stock tips.
Not bad.
If that makes sense. So that Roku, Hulu, yeah. I like Netflix better than Hulu right now, though. But that's my that's what I mean. I don't think that's too hard to think about.
No, it makes sense. That's what the new consumer is all about. Is
convenience,
instant gratification. It's the name of the game now.
I'm actually extremely worried about the world. I'm extremely worried, Joe. Joe, there are some days that it's 3 p.m. and I take a deep breath and it's 7 o'clock. And I've probably burned 3 calories in the 4-hour time frame because I haven't moved.
Right. Yeah.
How is that going to affect your body and your bones and your eyes?
Not good.
And your brain. What are these things doing to our brains?
Well, I know you don't have to think near as much as you used to, because if you can't think of the answer, you just Google it.
I know.
There it is.
I know.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like today's struggles for me in the world are, oh man, I got to use my phone for GPS. There's no possible way
Uh-huh.
I can watch extra frame and have the GPS at the same time on the same device
Yeah.
driving up here.
Oh, that's not good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know exactly
What
you mean.
is going on here? I get on these 2-lane roads sometimes where it's like 50 miles an hour in each direction and there's no divider. And I just sit there and think to myself, is that person on the other side of the road texting?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's scary. That's scary.
Because I'm going to tell you something. I bet 15% of them are.
Oh, you're probably right.
And I don't think my number's off.
No, I don't think you're off there at all.
That's scary.
How often do you pull up to a stoplight and you take off and the guy next to you hasn't
Just
started to
sitting
move
there.
yet because he's just sitting there. He's looking at that phone, guaranteed, texting away.
Yeah. I mean, it's
You get 100 yards down the road and finally he moves.
I don't know all the studies and I haven't looked into it. I'm just talking on air right now. I haven't really discussed this at this length with anyone, but I got to imagine that the whole texting thing is got to be getting up there in the same sort of numbers as drunk driving.
I'm sure it is. Sure it is. It's more dangerous anymore almost. So prevalent.
Dennis Acker says, Mike, don't be worried. The world will correct itself the same way the stock market will correct itself.
Flames, huh?
Yeah. So, folks, let's get a little update on the bowling tournament. We should have a Game 2 update in just a momento.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you after Game 1, Chad Nelson is your leader. He bowled 268. Tom Hess opened with 257. Mitch Houpe opened with 249. Tommy T-Cats opened with 246. Cameron Doyle 240. Rob Amers 234. Eric George 233. Brandon Martin 232. Nathan Michalowski 231. And Adam Morse 229. On this squad, there were 29 bowlers even or plus out of the 64 we have on the squad.
I think that's relatively close to the percentage we had on the first squad. The score started out fairly good, and they kind of dropped off the last couple, 3 games. But, yeah, the scores early on weren't too bad.
No, they were pretty good. You had a 297 here. You had a lot of decent scores, and I saw multiple angles being able to be played, Joe. So that's always good.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't favor a style, so to speak.
No, I think the pattern is pretty much what we're looking for. It doesn't really lock anybody out. The bowler had 297s, the left-hander, and he ended up 34 under for the 6 games.
34 under with a 297.
Yes. He had 2-0 the first game, he said, and 297, I think, the third game, and his last 3 were not so very good. But yeah, there's you could definitely find something that would work, but it wasn't easy by any means.
I'm going to bring in our split screen, bring in a prior champion from back in September of 2013, Jason Poley. And we've also got Rob Amers down there as well on that pair. But, Joe, I want to talk about a couple of things since you're here in the booth. We're talking it over with Tournament Director Joe Engelkiss. He's up here joining me in the booth. Saw me up here alone and said, I'm going to go up and hang out with Mike for a little bit, which I appreciate. I was looking at this sheet here with all your tournaments. We've got, this Fusion Realtors, which is now morphed into the Fusion Realtors Community First National Bank Open, in which sometimes I feel bad because I still refer to it as the Fusion when Community First has just as much to do with it. But it was born as the Fusion.
Yes, and it's what everybody calls it. I mean,
yep.
And fortunately, Brandon Steen, who is the loan officer from Community First National Bank, is one of our members and bowlers. He happens to be good friends with the owner of Fusion Realty, Zach Bishorner, and they kind of have an understanding that, it's called the Fusion still, but we want to make sure to recognize both of them.
Yeah, and Community First does funding and stuff and helps Fusion Realty quite a bit, don't they?
Right, yeah, they work hand in hand. And, Brandon does real estate loans. That's his specialty, and and he helps out Zach on a lot of the deals that they put together.
So I look back at this, and I kind of sort of like freak out looking at this photographic thing you have here with all the champions, because this is a lot of years.
It is.
Like, I'm looking at 2011, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember that. Joe, that was 7 years ago.
It was.
And I remember the first time I came up here was in this bowling center in 2012. My first gig that I didn't do my own streaming, you had contacted me through Wriggles, and I came up and streamed your event, not even knowing how it was going to turn out.
Right, right.
And Derek Sapp bowls 300 with a Brooklyn in the final,
on the last ball.
Final ball.
Yeah.
And it still lives on the archives on Inside Bowling. It's
Yes.
still out there to be found, you
Yep.
know. So
Yep.
it's just amazing to me looking at this. And then Nick Heilman winning in 13, and Poley winning in 13, and then Casey Murphy, and then Tom Hess, and then Matt Smith, and then Keeler, Barris, Murphy again, Biondo, and Pearson. And I look back and, like, I've been a part of most of these. I've missed a couple, and I feel awful about what happened in September that I couldn't make it. Like, making that call to you saying I couldn't come stream it sucked. Like, it wasn't fun at all. Like, it was awful.
Uh-huh.
And I hate it that I missed that. I also don't like it that I missed Jason Poley back in September of 13. And I sent my team out for the Matt Smith one.
Right, right.
And I think and Matt McNeil, that one wasn't streamed.
No, that was our first tournament, and kind of we were feeling our way around quite a bit. We limited to 2 squads, 128 bowlers, and I think I had 30 guys on the waiting list. And
yeah,
that was kind of when we decided, well, you know what, we're going to change some things around, go to 3 squads and have 2 of them a year, because it was pretty obvious that there was a need out there that the guys wanted to bowl.
And then we missed the Hess one there. So
Right.
when I look at this, I feel like I've been part of all of them, but I've missed 3 or 4.
Yep.
But man, these things have been great, and it's been a fun 7 years. I mean, I can't even think about how crazy that is. 7 years.
Yeah, believe me.
That's a long period of time.
It is. Yeah, we've been pretty fortunate. We have a pretty good following, and what I really like to see is we really ran into some issues with this tournament because we had to move it a couple of weeks due to the women's state tournament for Iowa coming here the last weekend in February, which is our normal weekend.
Yep.
So consequently, we ran into a tournament down in St. Louis that cost us most of the St. Louis bowlers, and a big team tournament up in Minneapolis that probably cost us another 20 bowlers that usually come down from up there. So some of that has hurt our entry level for this one, but we're still going to end up around 170 with some re-entries, and I guess that's not too bad.
Well, I think it's funny because, you know, I've canceled running the IB Open anymore because I was only getting 220 entries.
Right.
And I hear you sitting here saying, yeah, and we only have 170 entries.
Right.
It's almost like you and I have this expectation that when we put on an event that it should be a no-brainer for people to come bowl, and if we don't fill it up or come close to filling, we're just sitting there scratching our heads like disappointed. Like, we're not like disappointed, but it's like, really? Am I losing it? You know, am I losing my touch? Is it time to get out? I don't know if that goes through your mind.
Oh, yeah, it definitely does. Of course, I'm a lot closer to time to get out than you are. And, you know, at my age, things tend to linger a little longer with me than what they used to. And you start thinking, boy, what am I doing wrong? What really is causing this thing to maybe fall off just a little bit? And there was a time when you could pretty much count on everybody would make it work to come and bowl. Now it seems like, especially this time, I had to work really, really hard to get to where we are with the entries.
Yeah, it's like bowling was thirsty 7 or 8 years ago.
Right.
Like, it was really thirsty for more events. There was no women's tour.
Right.
PBA didn't have the extra frame tour in the summer.
Right.
11thframe.com Open, which you're involved with, didn't really exist at the time. The Proprietors
right.
Cup didn't exist. Billy Isolt's events.
Right.
And it was like there was like this surge of bowling tournaments that kind of came around,
Yeah, and I think the success that your IB Open and these Fusion tournaments had for us really kind of, especially here in the Midwest, laid the groundwork for a few other similar type events. Nick Heilman now runs one up in La Crosse, Wisconsin. That's a one-day tournament that's very successful, gets a lot of added prize money. I think whether we built something that was a good model and it's been copied somewhat now by other events, and he gets to the point where bowlers are starting to have to make a choice now.
Yeah, they really are. And the only way and that's why I'm quitting doing the IB Open. Like, I'm not doing it because it's not a must bowl anymore. I want to come back at some point in time, and if I'm going to run an event again, I want it to be a must bowl.
Right.
And I feel like at this point in time, you almost got to have, and I know your philosophy is different with your payout structure, which is great. I don't have an issue with your payout structure. Like, that's something that identifies you. But for getting people to travel and whatnot and running events kind of like I do under my umbrella, I almost have to put a $20,000 top prize out there.
Right.
For it to be a must bowl.
Right.
I mean, you wouldn't even think about it.
Right.
I'm gonna get, how do you get there? How do you do it? So.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a real juggling match, if that's what you want to call it, trying to figure out what's your target audience and how far do you want guys to travel. Do you want the upper echelon, that top 5% of bowlers to come and bowl, and maybe because of that, some of your regular guys that bowl your tournaments. My situation is a little different than yours because I run a whole season-long group of tournaments, and I have a group of about 100 to 150 bowlers in the state, around the state of Iowa, that want to bowl most of our events. And the stronger the field gets for the Fusion tournaments, the fewer of those guys end up wanting to come and bowl. So I try to kind of make sure that we don't make that top prize so high that it attracts guys from 4, 5, 6, 7 states away.
Sure.
But yet it's big enough that we get them from all over the Midwest.
Yeah, this is this is just a unique deal. It's hard for me to even explain what this is like when I come to this event. It's just different. It almost feels like everybody here is bowling a league that has a lot of added prize money. It almost feels like league.
Yeah.
Not from a shot standpoint.
Right.
So when I say league, I don't mean that the shot's easy.
No, right.
But I feel like everybody here knows each other.
Yeah.
They've been bowling 35 weeks together. They all kind of respect one another.
Right. Well, a lot of our members have been bowling together in these tournaments for, gee whiz, a lot of us, 30, 35, 40 years, and even the younger group, we've got a lot of guys that have been members for 15 to 20 years, and everybody does know each other. It's really pretty amazing, and we try to travel around to different locations, and we have a bunch of proprietors that help us with some added prize money. Not every tournament, obviously, is as big as what this one is, but even some of our smaller events, we had one at Bowler Amma Lanes in Des Moines with where we had about 80 entries and about $1,000 in added prize money, a little over that, and it's a one-day, one-squad deal, and boy, did we have fun. The guys just love to get together and get after it with each other, and there's a lot of good-natured ribbon goes on, and when you're all done, they're sitting in the bar having drinks together, and it is similar to a league because we get together at least once a month throughout the whole bowling season. Some months we have 2 events, but I think I had 10 or 11 total events this year, so it's a family deal. It really is, and to be honest, that's the only reason I'm still doing this.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm that competitive anymore as far as my bowling, and now because my daughter's got a family and my wife gets a little tired of the travel and taking time out of her schedule. I end up going and running the one-day events by myself, and I don't bowl anymore in a lot of them. But I still like to compete, but at my age, it's getting a little tougher when I see all these kids out here just strapping on it.
Oh yeah, Steve Keeler with a crumpler there, trying to bail out 200. Over here on lanes 15 and 16, Jason Poley can bowl 188 with a spare and a strike. Scores 236, 219, possible 212.
Looks like I bowled good on the same pair everybody's bowling good on today.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is one of the best pairs in the house.
19 and 20.
Yeah.
56, 22.
Yeah, I think that's the pair. I had my very first 700 series in Cadillac lanes back in 1976 on that pair, but it was wood lanes then. It was 33 and 34 back then, but now they renumbered after they took out some lanes.
Dennis Hacker wants to know how old you are.
66.
66.
Yeah.
What is the plan with these tournaments moving forward? Do you have a plan? I mean, I think it was about 6 events ago you had mentioned to me, that hey, I don't know how much longer this is going to be. Not because you were frustrated or anything, but you just were kind of thinking about it with grandkids and everything you got going on. Like, where are you at on this?
Well, yeah, believe me, after this tournament's over today or this weekend, and I kind of wrap things up for the season, I'll do a little soul searching again. But I've already put in application for funding from the Convention and Visitors Bureau for next year, and also for the Convention and Visitors Bureau over in Dubuque for the 11thframe.com. We've got their commitment already over there, and we'll know next month on the commitment from Waterloo here.
Would that be a deal breaker? Would that make you seriously consider shutting her down?
Well, I think if we lost the funding there, it would most likely put an end to these tournaments, or I'd have to really go out and search hard for another couple pretty good sized sponsors, because they throw some significant dollars at. We get about $3,000 a tournament from the Convention and Visitors Bureau for the Fusion tournaments. So, to come up with other sponsors to make up that difference would be kind of tough. Now, we could obviously raise the entry fee a little bit and, supplement that way, but I'd rather not do that. Really, the bigger deal breaker for me is going to be when I decide I'm going to be fully retired and not working 30 hours a week and sticking around here pretty much all year. We like to travel, and at some point in time, whether it be 2 or 3 years from now, I'll probably look at spending at least a month or 6 weeks down south somewhere during the wintertime, which would impact, obviously, the whole series. But for now, as long as I can get my daughter to keep helping and my wife to agree to sit in and help out, and my son still does all the stuff with our nice website, it's still a family deal. As long as they want to be involved, I'll probably keep doing it. I do enjoy it. I love doing the stuff for the bowlers. I've made a ton of friends over the years, and I would miss that piece of it, obviously. I miss the competition, but I'm not as competitive anymore as I once was, so I don't miss it quite that bad.
Why don't you scoot over a little bit closer to me a little bit, because I'm not going to get up to move the camera. But while we're waiting, I'm sitting here talking with Joe Engelkes, and earlier today, my Kimberly, was in the booth, or was in the chat while I was in the booth. Mm-hmm. And she asked the question, and she didn't do it because she genuinely wanted to know. She was trying to give me a topic of conversation. But she pretty much pointed out, the tournament director is bowling the tournament.
Right.
Which, if you were to open a handbook on what to do and what not to do, one of the things that you would say is the tournament director is not to bowl their own events.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I went on this long dissertation.
Right.
A long dissertation about this. And I actually came to a conclusion. I feel like if you won the Fusion tournament the bowlers that come to this event would all be super happy for you.
I think so.
They
I really do.
And that is unbelievable. That is like if the Mississippi River started flowing towards Michigan.
Yeah.
That is so remarkable. And if you think about that, you should seriously put your head on a pillow at night. And that should be like the biggest compliment in the world in this industry.
Believe me, I have a huge amount of gratitude that's the way the bowlers feel. When I started doing this back in 1998, when I took over, I actually helped. Starting in about 1978, I helped with the Greater Iowa administration on the day of the tournament. I actually took over the whole thing in 98, and at that point in time, it was a dying animal. And through the help of my family and so on, we built this thing back up to where now we're averaging for this season over 100 entries, or right around 100 entries for all of our tournaments. And the one thing that I told the guys, I said, I'll do this, but the only reason I'm doing it is because I want this thing to live and I want to bowl. I want to have something to bowl myself.
Exactly.
I said, and the thing about it is, the reason they feel that way is because they know that I've never been in this to make money. You know, we always throw money back in out of the brackets. We charge a $10 membership fee each year, and at the end of the season, we've got $2,500 that's mostly from those membership fees is going back into a bonus prize fund for this tournament. For the guys that support the tournament, bowled at least 4 of our events, they got a chance for a $20 entry fee. They can, and we pay like 1 to 2.5 out of that money. And
wow.
And it's just something extra to do for the guys. And they know that I've worked pretty hard to make this thing right. And I would never bowl if I was directly involved with the making the pattern.
Yep.
Now, I'll tell Rich Amy, who is the proprietor of both centers now, here's what we want to do for the 2 tournaments. We go to Maple Lanes. It's a lot more hooky surface there.
Yep.
We want a longer pattern. We come to Cadillac XBC, doesn't hook as much. We want a shorter pattern. And that way we're offering some variety. But also, we pretty much feel the same way. We don't want to see the guys lofting the gutter cap right off the bat. So our longer patterns are set up so that you don't have to start out at 4th or 5th arrow and move in from there. So a lot of the things that we do, I do it the way I do it because that's the way I would have wanted it when I was born.
Absolutely.
And, the nice part is a lot of the other tournaments around this area now are kind of capturing that same model, and you see them throwing money back in out of their bracket proceeds. You see them lining up added prize money, and there's a lot of good events around now. And they all, a lot of them will come to me and say, why don't you guys come and run on at my tournament? Well, gee whiz, I'm getting too old to have to run 3 or 4 tournaments a month. I just can't do that. So, it does make a guy feel good when the bowlers want me to bowl good.
Yes.
Even though it's taking money maybe out of their
yes.
pockets.
Like, it's unbelievable to me. Like, I don't know. I was just thinking about that. That's just really, really cool to me. Like, I just find that fascinating. We've got a talented group that's come on to our screen here. We're talking it over with Tournament Director Joe Engelkis. I do have some more questions in regards to that stuff. But Devin Bidwell, Mitch Houpe, Packy Hanrahan, and A.J. Chapman are on your screen right now. Some Wichita folks bowling.
They can play a little.
We got standings after game number 2 as well that we need to go through. Eric George is your leader. He's 68 over. Mitch Houpe is second high on this squad at plus 60. Tom Hess is at plus 54. Chad Moss at 54. Chad Nelson at 42. That's your top 5. And so far we have 29 bowlers plus, and it happens to be Devin Bidwell is plus 3. And that's after 2 games. We'll have game 3 for you in about 15 minutes. And we got 64 bowlers on the squad. Minus 87 is dead last. So there's your scoring pace.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Obviously, the pace dropped off right away the second game when they had to move pairs. Your first shift or first game leader fell down by must have shot about 175. So yeah, it got a little tougher. Tom Hess didn't quite make 200. Yeah, it's kind of taken on the same appearance as what the first squad did. As you move pairs, it got a little tricky.
Oh yeah, your son Greg has been lighting you up here in the chat.
Yeah, I see that.
I was just talking about how great your website looks. If anybody wants to check out what they do here, you go to giba-bowling.com, and it's really a nice site. I was looking at the whole thing. It helped me figure out all the, who all the sponsors are for this event and everything. And, the squad lists are posted. It lets me prepare for the tournament a little bit. And it's just laid out really nice, and you got everything you need on there. So you guys have been keeping that up. And
yeah, Greg does it. That's kind of his area. That's what he does for a living. And he spends a little bit of time making sure everything's up to date. And he posts all our point lists and schedule and all that kind of stuff for me.
If you're looking for standings, a little bit different this time as we change our website around. All you have to do is go to InsideBowling.com, and when you're there on the site, you will see at the very top in a black bar, you're going to find live streaming now, Fusion Realtors Open, InsideBowling.tv. That's our other domain that we have. And when you click on it, there's a chance that it's going to say that there's a warning. You need to hit advance through that and then just go onto the site. Everything's fine. It's a growing pain with switching over our website. It'll be fixed before our next event. Then you'll see our streaming there, and then down below is the chat, and then below that is the standings that are getting updated from the tournament office. So that's where you can find the standings. And then also, Kim is tweeting out the standings after each game. And she's doing that from remote locations, so she's doing that as well. So
I would guess Jennifer might be posting them on Facebook too. She usually does.
In the
in the GIBA Facebook page.
Yeah, so there's different places you can go. You can go and get that. So Matt Turek just shared a photo from 5 years ago at Cherry Lane, setting up live stream for a collegiate tournament. Brett Cunningham and Matt. Yep, I got all my tabs here, man. I'll tell you what, my use of tabs in a web browser has increased a ton. Joe, I am a tab web browsing maniac.
I see that.
Like right now, if somebody says in the chat, "Oh, this person goes to McKendree," boom, right here.
Yeah.
All right, where are they at in the nation? How good are they doing right now?
Cool.
Like I'm ready to go. I know if people are subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, will somebody go subscribe real quick just so I can make this thing change? It'll change on the fly. It'll tell me when people are subscribing or not subscribing. So
look at there.
You'll see it bump. Watch this. It'll go up to 84 because it's always a little behind. Oh, 85.
You got a new one.
Got a new one.
There.
Yeah.
How about that?
Isn't that awesome?
Woo.
So I'm looking at that, and then I'll show you something else that's really cool. Technology is so insane. I was setting up this new online store that we have, and when somebody goes onto the site and the little pop-up comes up to say 15%, when they put in their email address, immediately they get an email sent from me that says, thanks for joining. Here's your coupon, and it could happen at 3 in the morning or whatever. Technology is just unbelievable.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. crazy.
So, I'm looking at our new online store, and it shows, where we're at in sales. Right now there's 16 people on the website. Hopefully they're all shopping.
Hopefully. Hopefully. Get your cards out, guys. Get your cards out.
It tells me what the most popular products are. It's just fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
If somebody leaves a couple things in their shopping cart, 6 hours later they're going to get an email that says, "Hey, by the way, you got some stuff in your cart."
Yeah, would you please close it out? I need the money.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Make it happen.
It's just
Oh, yeah.
it's all this stuff. If you're not keeping up with it, you really are getting behind.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable how
No
much it's
doubt.
automated. Oh, look at that. Now we're up to 588.
More.
Yeah,
Wow.
it just keeps going.
Yeah, look at him go.
That's the other thing that I found. I used to stream on this channel, and I'd never asked for anybody to subscribe. And my growth was flat, very little growth.
Right.
Now that I actually sit here and solicit and ask, they do it. But it's because they're so nice.
Well, you must be the likable sort or something.
I don't know. I don't know. We've
That might
had
be
some
it.
very interesting chats up here in this booth over the years.
Oh, no. Not really.
You guys remember them better than I do.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. We've got. They want us to go run tournaments in certain parts of the country, like Wyoming and Minnesota. Also, Dennis says,
Wyoming.
why don't you have a drone visit me in downtown Salt Lake City? I should have had a drone come down and see you. Although the range on those are only a couple miles.
Right.
And I'm in North Ogden. It's 40 miles away.
Beaufort, Wyoming, huh?
Yep.
Population 1. It's going to be a big tournament. It's going to have a high entry fee.
Yeah, a couple thousand.
Yeah. Pay $1,500 to win.
Yeah, exactly, for us to get there.
Yeah.
Jay in the chat says, don't forget to click the notification bell so you can stay up to date on all the IB videos. That's true. That's true.
So the guys in Minnesota want us to come run a tournament, huh? Well, you know what, guys? We don't have to come run it for you. You just have to know the tricks of how you get your local convention and visitors bureau involved in setting a tournament up, and it's a doable thing. Everybody has money. You just got to know how to apply for it and get some of it.
I do feel like the streaming, though, since the first time I came up here, I do feel like we've got the streaming down a lot better. I used to be kind of frantic, and now it's just like, I'll get it to work.
Run of the mill. Yeah, make it happen. Yeah, I remember we had a couple of issues with the internet connectivity over at Maple, though, that kind of got us hung up a little bit. The stream would go down, and Mike would be pulling his hair out. And, you guys can't be running that ATM machine because it's running that. Oh, man.
Well, the pipe over there was just so bad.
Yeah, it was not a good.
And it used to get on my nerves because this tournament's so amazing, and I don't want people watching a grainy feed.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it would just anger me.
Yep. Well, yeah, you told me you wouldn't even come anymore if you didn't get it fixed. Boy, did I have to bend over a chair for that one to get Maple Lanes.
And then we made it work for one time, and then I said, I'm not coming to the next one. I'm sure that went over great.
That was a real sweet treat there.
We just upgraded this internet. Now he's not even coming.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. It doesn't surprise me. I had that coming to me.
Yeah, fortunately, I have a really, really good relationship with the proprietor, so
Well, the internet connection
we
is
get
the
on
price
that
of paying poker anymore. It's
Oh,
like
yeah,
it's like
absolutely.
CO2.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just got to have it.
Yeah. Well, it was like they said they had use for it otherwise, but their use wasn't overriding to the point where they wanted to spend the extra money. But they worked out a deal, and everything's fine. The good part is here when they upgraded and put all those high-tech gadgets over on the other side, they got a nice connectivity with the internet. So
Yeah. You know, this AJ Chapman we got here on the screen, he bowled the most bizarre game in the history of my live streams at your event. Do you remember the game that he bowled like 140? And there was a question on whether or not a pin fell, and we had to go back to replay.
right,
And
right.
it was crazy.
Yeah.
This kid,
Yep.
like, I've believed in this kid forever. Like, I think he's
Right,
just got a
right.
phenomenal
Oh, yeah,
physical game.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a PBA champion.
Yeah.
I really, truly believe that.
He practices and
Oh,
practices.
my God. This guy's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's a great supporter of the Greater Iowa, too. So.
Yeah, and, you know, he comes from a family that owns
Right.
bowling center and, you know, all this
Right,
great stuff.
right.
And this kid in this game that he bowled is not a reflection of what he's like as a bowler. It was just an anomaly. It was phenomenal.
Yeah. Maple Lane's had a little issue over there with the way that their cameras work. If a pin is rocking on the back end, the camera won't pick it up sometimes. It'll give them a strike and sweep the pin off. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Because it happens all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, we see it at least once or twice a week in our league out there. And so I knew right away, well, this is what happened. So then we looked on the replay, and that's exactly what happened. The sweep knocked the pin off. And, yeah, that was a strange occurrence. In a big picture, it didn't really end up making any difference because he got beat pretty bad.
Yeah, but like
that
100.
match. Yeah, but, yeah, it was quite the controversy for a while. We had to go look at it. And actually, the main mechanic from Maple happened to be watching the live stream, and he called me while we were looking at that replay. And he says, I can tell you exactly what happened because it happens all the time out here.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, you're right. I can see that on the screen. And,
Yeah.
And, yeah, it was kind of a strange, bizarre deal because 2 or 3 people in the crowd and AJ and even his dad to a certain extent, I think, were saying, no, that pin was falling. It fell before the sweep hit it.
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty
Colorado
wild.
Sports TV says, Mike, are you interested in an on-screen scoring system that doesn't involve a camera on the TV? Sure. I mean, yeah, fine. But here's my caveat to that, right, is I'm great with that, but I can't pay somebody to sit here and type in the scores manually. And I also can't pay for the technology to figure out how to tie it in with the scoring system in every place that I go to because every place has a different scoring system. So
Right.
Colorado Sports TV, if you have that figured out, that's wonderful. And if you want to pass on how we can make that technology happen here, great. I will tell you that that you mentioning that on this broadcast is a glaring reason why you're doing it is because we've got these old monitors, which they're doing a scoring upgrade in a couple of months.
Right.
And the way that the scores are put in right now, it's these big boxes, and I have to have more of the scoreboard on the screen. And I've got new upgraded graphics to go with these not-so-great scoreboards.
Right.
So it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb.
Right.
But at the same time, as long as people can see the scores,
Yeah.
you know. But yes, Colorado Sports TV, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. Once they host the women's state tournament this year here, they're going to upgrade and get the new scoring system in the same one they actually have over at Maple Lanes and with the flat screen TVs, and so that'll be all better the next time when you come back here, assuming you're coming back.
Yeah. No, I got to tell you that I got to get motivated sometimes, and I have a ton of I have a ton of requests to do live streams, and I've been turning a lot of them down, a lot. But there's certain reasons I don't really want to talk about on air of why I for sure come to this. not that you and your family aren't great enough, but there's some certain things that you've done in the past that will make me show up here because of your commitment to me. And I will never, ever, ever forget that. So I'm in. The problem that occurs with me is I overcommit myself.
Yeah.
With a lot of the things that I have going on. But I will tell you that I'm creeping out of that hole. And the reason why I say that is I'm entrusting the people that work with InsideBowling.com, because I have a full staff now. I am trusting them more and more and teaching them more and more on what needs to be done so that I can be freed up to go do things that I can work on. So, I said in 2018 I was going to accomplish some projects that I didn't do in 17. One of them was I was going to launch the merch store, and that just happened in the first quarter. I'm also going to start a podcast. I'm going to do a podcast again. I did a podcast 5 years ago. Why I'm not doing a podcast 5 years later is beyond me. It might have even been 7 years ago. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy long format interviews. I'm going to bring that to iTunes and the Google Play Store, and I'm going to use that platform not only to entertain and hopefully have people have an enjoyable bowling weekly podcast to listen to in an interesting way and find out things about people that most people don't ask. It's also going to help be a marketing vehicle to drive people to my website to shop in my store.
Right.
I have this tournament I want to run. I don't know if it's going to be in 18 or in 19, but I have this tournament format that I want to run that I think will be the most entertaining weekend of online sports programming and bowling ever created. Because this is a traditional format.
Right.
There's nothing right now. We're not even concentrating on what arrow Devin Bidwell's throwing across, what ball he's using, what's going on. Because quite honestly, Joe, if I did that for the entire day today, I would be completely done for tomorrow.
Okay.
So, Joe took a quick break there. And I need to say hello to Matt Turek, who's in the chat. Matt, what's going on, brother? Hope you're doing well.
Hey, Matt.
And
Miss you, buddy.
And yes, Thess is bowling again. King Thess is bowling again. But where was I at in our conversation? I was talking about.
You're talking about your launching your.
Oh, the tournament. The
tournament. Oh, your tournament, yeah.
So this is a traditional format, this event, and during qualifying, it's very difficult to stay engaged in what's going on. It's just very difficult to do that. So usually during qualifying on this channel, we talk about other things like stock tips and whatever it may be. We're here. We're presenting you the scores. We're showing you can watch ball reaction all you want, but we also have a certain duty of getting through the day and interacting with our chat and saying hello to everyone. And I have this idea of this tournament where, first of all, there are some scheduled side events where people sign up ahead of time to bowl big action, maybe even fan votes. So like, let's say I get a $250 sponsor for an hour and a half long broadcast. Okay, they get a whole deal done. And the players each have to put up $500 each, and they bowl a 3-game match. And there's $250 added by a sponsor. And I get a list of people that are willing to do that. And then out of the list of people that I get that want to do that, I pick 4 of them that I think would draw the most viewers, and I put it to a Twitter poll vote. And those 2 players are going to bowl against each other, sponsored by the $250 sponsor for an hour and a half. Maybe we do a few of those, okay? But the main event is this. The entire field all bowls at the same time. There is no re-oil each day, by the way. You oil in the morning and you're done for the day. Okay, so you don't have a bunch of times where you have to stop. You just keep going. You bring in 6 bowling balls. Any 6 balls you want. You put them down on your ball card 1 through 6. That's their number. The whole field bowls a game. The bottom half of the field, after that game, up at the front desk, we spin a wheel. It has 1 through 6 on it. Whichever number gets spun, that ball is eliminated from the bag of the lowest half of the field, and they have to carry their balls to the graveyard, and they have to bury them. The graveyard exists somewhere in the bowling center. Maybe it's a dark pair of lanes like this catwalk right here. Okay, and all the balls start piling up there, and we have a camera on that as well. Okay, everybody bowls a game again. Spin the wheel, you eliminate that ball from your bag. If the same number is spun and you're in the bottom half again, you just go up a number, by the way. So if 6 gets pulled in and 6 again, then your 1 would go. And basically that just keeps happening. On the same pattern that's left over, it's random lane draws, where you just give them your assignment, you just go out and you bowl. To the point that eventually it's not the last guy standing, it's the last bowling ball standing.
That's interesting.
And instead of congratulating the guy,
you congratulate the ball.
We congratulate the ball, and because in today's world it seems like it's more about the balls than it is about the bowler.
Right.
So I want to bring that to the surface, and in a fun, creative way.
Sure. Sounds like a good time.
And I'll run brackets. But the brackets are only going to exist in the first 6 games because those are the only 6 games you're allowed to bowl.
Right.
Which in a tournament, when are the brackets the biggest anyway? It's in qualifying.
Right. Yeah.
So
Crazy.
That's
Crazy.
the format.
I like it.
That's the format I want to run.
I like it. It's a lose a ball format.
Yeah, that's it. And I want it to be like a $200 entry or something like that. And I just want to eliminate people and just keep. And maybe it's not 6 balls. Maybe it's 5. I have to run the numbers out.
Right.
But that's what I want to run. And really, it's one of those things where you start on Saturday, and we're done when we get down to the number of players we need left. It could take a different amount of time. You don't know how long it will take.
Right. Sure.
But it just keeps going.
Interesting.
There is none of this. Well, I bowled A and then I bowled B. No, everybody comes into the bowl. You need a big place.
Right.
Like a Landmark Lanes in Peoria or something like that.
Yep.
And, I wouldn't want to put more than 3 on a lane.
Right.
So, let's just say
sense.
you went to an 80-lane center some way somehow and it was 240 bowlers. That's $48,000 prize fund, right?
Right.
I need another 25 to 30 to put in it with it.
Right.
And that's how that would
Interesting.
That's how that would go down, essentially.
Interesting format.
But yeah, I want to run that. I just want to see it. I'm interested in that. I've talked about it a few times on here. I just have extreme interest in presenting that. And I seriously would put the names of the bowling balls on the screen. I would not put the person's name.
This is the bowling ball that won, huh?
Yeah. And it'd be called a bowling ball tournament.
Cool.
Bowling it'll almost be a team event. It might be 5 balls. Who's the
5
lead
balls.
off? Right.
They lead off. Yep. Well, sorry, your number 4 guy's out.
Yeah. Right.
Well, it certainly would make you want to be in the top half of the finishing group, so you didn't have to lose a ball every game.
Yeah, and from a manufacturer standpoint, just think about how much they could blow that up on social media.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because if their ball won,
yeah.
they would be able to congratulate the ball on social media.
Right.
Like it would be, clearly I work with Ebonite International and they support your event, and I personally would be rooting for that brand, but for the purpose of this event, I would,
right.
I whoever won.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird tournament format, but I think it's something that people would talk about and would say, I got to go try this.
Right. Last ball standing, there it is. You got them talking now.
Yeah, Turek's getting them blown up here in the chat. Colorado Sports TV wants to broadcast that format. Hi, Devin. Let's see. Spare balls included in the 6. If you want spare balls, you just have to put it in your arsenal. There is no spare ball.
Right. That might be the only one left, or it might be the first one out. Now what do you do?
Loves the men's room.
Yeah, right above.
There it is.
Yeah.
It's always backwards on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you get some random ball that wins from not a PBA company like AZO or Legends, Masters, Visionary, Monster. Yeah, I mean, there could be it could be a marketing tool for one of these off brands, because they would be like, hey, I'm going to get as many guys in the tournament as I can with this ball.
Sure.
You know,
cool.
That is assuming that this tournament would be that marketable.
Right.
I'm putting a pretty high premium on my talent of being able to make this thing huge, but.
Right.
I don't know. I just think it would be a fun.
Sounds interesting.
It's almost like making fun of today's bowling ball marketing.
Right. Well, that's become the nature of the beast.
It is.
It's, instead of changing your hand position or figuring out how to make something work, you just go grab a different ball.
Yeah, I like to call it changing the wobble.
Yeah.
You change at what point, how this ball wobbles going down the lane, at what part to pick up or slow down.
Right.
So, but I don't know.
Interesting.
It's just something that is the only format right now that I really have any interest in running.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
Because I've done everything else.
Yeah.
Running an old school urethane and plastic ball tournament isn't even fun anymore because it's become a preferred choice.
Urethane is we've got a ton of college kids here, and I'll guarantee every one of them's got at least 2 or 3 of them in their bag. They bring in 8, 10 balls, and a third of them are urethane now. I crossed with Cameron today, and that's all he threw.
Yeah, purple hammer.
He did throw one of the new, I don't know how he was doing it, the rip ball, because that ball is a hooking beast, I think, and this pattern hooked anyway. I don't know how he was doing it, but he didn't throw very long. He went back to urethane, and that was his best luck. Well, I got to step away for a little bit.
Joe, it's been fun just kind of talking things over with you.
Yeah, always interesting.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you're going to go back to the tournament office and say, yeah, I was talking to some pretty interesting things with Flanagan. He's definitely lost it.
Yeah, well. I think we all know that, so that's no big deal. But yeah, my wife's got to run, take care of her mom for a little bit, and so I got to go help out.
Thanks, Joe. Maybe I'll see you on C Squad.
Maybe.
All right.
See ya.
That's Joe Engelkist, tournament director. Love hanging out with him. Absolutely love it. I am working on trying to find something here on the computer that needs to be found. So bear with me. Hope you're enjoying the action. I'll tell you, Joe is he's one of a kind. The amount of money they put back in these tournaments after all these years is just, unbelievable. I hope I have this on here. Game number 5 of 6. I'm going to give you a standings update now. I think it's a good time for that. After game 3, Greg Young bowled 700, 100 over. Gordy Kilpatrick is in second at plus 94. Alex Martin in third at 72 over. Mitch Houpe in fourth at plus 68. Chad Moss in fifth at plus 66, tied with Chris Hill and Joseph Grondin. Eighth is Rob Amers at plus 54. Tom Hess is ninth at plus 53. And 10th is Chad Nelson at plus 52. God, that guy's just always there. In 24th is Sean Rangel at even. So 24 players are even or better out of the 64 that are bowling right now. Get caught up on the chat here. Let's see what we got. Turek was like, I miss Maple Lanes. It doesn't look like Maple Lanes. No, we are at, I guess you never came up and did one here. We are at Cadillac XBC, formerly Cadillac Lanes. Robert Curatello says, Matt, we miss you, mispronounced names. Yeah, I feel bad about that sometimes. I would just beat Matt up in this booth. Be like, yeah, his name is this. It actually became like part of like our comedy show, actually. Because I remember at first, like, I felt bad about it. But then, like, Matt and I talked on one of these trips coming up, and I'm like, dude, it's kind of working. It's kind of like, Howard Stern kind of has, like, these guys that fill a certain role. Like, you're kind of filling into this role. Like, kind of like Artie Lang. Like, you just have your own way about you. Let's see. Looks like Dennis is going to bowl a fundraiser. Matt says, I hope they have a ramp for you. Dana says that tournament format I was talking about, we need Vanna White there to spin the wheel. That's a good idea. Yeah, Matt says he started a live, and he's doing really good. He's got a lot of great things going on for him. Very happy for him. And he says butchering names and picking Kyle Sherman to win every tournament. Matt always rooted for the St. Louis guys. Jay's in. Bobby wants to bowl. Let's see. Do world bowling scoring. That would be fun. Jay doesn't have enough bowling balls, so you'd have to use some house balls. Yeah, I guess we would have to have house balls on hand in case you couldn't fill out an arsenal. Bobby Schmidt still doing well in the poker tournament that he's playing in. Look at those graphics updating on time. What do you think of the new graphics, everybody? They look good? Who's the girl bowling? Girl bowling. Let me, I believe it's Jamie Martin. Oh, Jamie Rangel now. Married. Jamie Rangel. I want to welcome everybody back in. If you're just joining us, Fusion Realtors Community First National Bank Open. I want to thank our sponsors, support the sponsors, First Community National Bank, Fusion Realtors, of course, Ebonite, the official bowling ball sponsor of the GIBA. A couple of really cool videos about the Game Breaker 3 and the Verdict Pearl on the Ebonite YouTube channel. You should check them out. A couple of great pieces to add to your bag. Waterloo Convention and Visitors Bureau, thank you for your continued support of this event and financial support. Waterloo's a great place to visit. You should come up and check them out sometime. Budweiser, the Kingpin Grill, CFNB Mortgage, the Isle Hotel and Casino is where I stay every time I come. You should too. And in Logo Infusion's running a discount offer this weekend. GIBA 18. GIBA 18. Get you 20% off over at logoinfusion.com if you go and use that. GIBA 18 for Logo Infusion. 20% off. And then as I've been talking about this weekend, you see on your screen we got some new graphics. Says 15% off with coupon code YouTube. That's our new merch store on our website, Inside Bowling. So take a look around. We've got some pop culture T-shirts, and we've also got a licensing deal with Ebonite International, and those brands will be adding new designs all the time to the site. Make sure you check it out. We've had a lot of people taking advantage of the 15% off sale to get us started here. Everything will be shipped out in just a couple of days. I've got a fulfillment center handling everything for me, so don't think, oh, Mike's on the road, I'm not going to get my shirts in time. That's not the case. I have it all handled. Very, very proud of that project. It's been a long time coming. So, and if you have any ideas for T-shirts, let me know. Would be happy to hear those out. You can always send over an email to sales@insidebowling.com, sales@insidebowling.com, with any ideas that you may have. We may use your idea. And if we use your idea, we'll send you a T-shirt that you designed or at least inspired us to design for free. So sales@insidebowling.com. You can submit those if you like. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, we certainly would appreciate you doing so. We have had an explosion over the course of the last couple of streams that we've done. Currently right now we're at 10,589 subscribers. We'd love to get to 10,600 as soon as possible. See that, Devin? We got to 10,000. Yeah. About to get to 11,000 if we get some big viewership tomorrow. You saw the merch? Did you see the merch shop? See, I got the merch launched? Yeah, long time coming. Got some shirts, Bowling and Chill. Bowling World. Anyway, Devin and I were talking about that, I don't know, 6 months ago, I think. So anyway, a lot of good stuff going on here. And another sub. We're at 10,591. Somebody else just subscribed. Really, subscribing does you a lot of good because it instantly tells you on your phone when we go live. And we don't go live on a consistent basis, so just to be notified is kind of nice. I want to thank those of you that have actually gone on the site and purchased today. We've had a record day. We launched yesterday at no, actually we didn't launch yesterday, did we? When did we launch? What was that, Friday? What day did I fly? Yeah, we did. It was yesterday, 7 o'clock. I can't keep my days, 7 a.m. I think, 8 a.m. So right now we have 24 people on the website looking around. I will tell you so far our conversion rate is not very good considering the amount of visitors that we've had, so maybe I need to get some better designs on there. What would you like to see? Another subscriber to the channel. They're just rolling in. You guys are great. Makes me think about the Lego movie. Everything is awesome. Everything is awesome when you're part of a team. Everything is awesome when you're living a dream. Colorado Sports, hit me up if you really have a solution for me with these on-screen graphics when we go into a place that could have a little different setup here. I appreciate that. Got a 4-bagger there. See Mitch Hupay off to the left side of your screen. He's a recent Columbia 300 staffer. I probably need to spend some time with him. Yeah, but just talking it over with Devin Bidwell there for a minute, folks. Paul Giles says, two things. I spoke to Richard Teese and said he would like to bowl the Bradley next year, plus what a great team McKendree women are. Okay, I'm sure Richie can bowl the Bradley, no problem. Just get in touch with Jason Ushwal. They have a tournament, they have a website and a Facebook page. And yeah, McKendree women are like, I don't know, like, they're like the dream team. Let's go check in on Brent Boho and company. Brandon Dodge, Billy Hibbard, Brent Boho, and Jordan Chavez. Got some youngsters here. Brent Boho bowled team trials, did really well. Brent Boho bowled team trials out in Las Vegas in early January and finished 7th. And I'm going to read the top 20 to you. Actually, I'm going to read the top 25. Here's where Brent Boho ranks. Kyle Troop led and won the event. A.J. Johnson was 2nd. Jacob Buttriff was 3rd. Darren Tang was 4th. Matt Russo was 5th. Cortez Shank was 6th. Brent Boho was 7th. 8th was Matthew Farber. 9th was Andrew Anderson, who, oh, by the way, is going to bowl tomorrow on the tournament champion show. He's the number 2 seed. Marshall Kent was 10th. Wesley Lowe was 11th. Christopher Wiley was 12th. Brian Halen was 13th, who's also bowling this event. Kyle Sherman was 14th. D. Ron Booker was 15th. Chris Vi was 16th. Followed by James Grego, Double J, JJ, John Janowitz, Nick Crummell, Anthony Nyer, Josh Blanchard, Adam Zimmerman, Michael Martell, Chris Barnes, Josh Pate. That's your top 25, and Brent Boho was 7th. Do I need to really say any more about how talented that kid is? Don't forget we do have action coming up at 6:15 Central Time tonight. We will have C Squad for you. Nick Crummell will be bowling tonight. Rick Miller. Nick Pate, who's already here in the building. Aaron Ramsden's making the drive in. They are taking re-entries as well. So there's a few notables that are bowling tonight. Be interesting to see how many people re-enter. Bring in the split screen. Take a look at 21 and 22 as well. This is your more loaded squad. This squad's got pretty high skill level. Billy Hibbard, wrap 10. Shoot 192. Brent Boho can still finish out for 255. There's a strike for Boho. He's bumped up. Take it back over to 21 and 22. Drew Balta, Sean Rangel, Adam Morse, and Jamie Rangel. Sean Rangel. Bowl 258. Jamie Rangel with a strike. See Sean finish this game out. 258's a big score. Boho left at 369.10 and covered it for 241. So 257 for Sean Rangel. That's pretty impressive. Brandon Dodge can still get to 234. It's a good shot by Brandon. $190, $241, $186, and a possible $234 now if it gets finished out. $234. Got one game to go. I'll leave you here because there is action to the left. We're waiting for a new group to come in. Both pairs are empty. So we head into game number 6. All right. Okay, I'll bring it into the booth. Hi, everybody. Here I am. I guess I can cover a couple things here while I'm waiting for bowlers to move over to the correct pairs. Brent Boho and company are actually moving over to our other feature pair, 21 and 22. I do see that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings. After game number 4, Chad Moss is your leader at plus 114. Greg Young in second at plus 113. Gordy Kilpatrick in third at plus 75. Mitch Houpe in fourth at plus 70. Chris Hill in fifth at plus 67, tied with Rob Amers. Tom Hess is in seventh at plus 52. Eric George is in eighth at plus 49. Cameron Doyle in ninth at plus 47. And Andy Bulow in 10th at plus 44. Currently right now there are 33 bowlers plus, and Steve Keeler is the 33rd plus bowler at plus 1. Let's see, what else do we have for you? Looks like I can take you out to the lanes, as I have the guys we just watched taken to the lanes. Again, it's Brandon Dodge, Billy Hubbard, Brent Boho, Jordan Chavez. And over on 15 and 16, got Nick Heilman, Greg Piesel, Ryan Stubblefield, and Rob Warren. So I'll bring in the split screen so we can watch everybody bowl. Tom Hess decided to re-enter the tournament because he was plus 144 after 4 and bowled 150, 170 and thought he could get himself in a position to be 140 over again after 4 and not bowl 150, 170. Instead, maybe end up 170 to 200 over. And he thought that start going into tomorrow would put him in an excellent place to cash for, you know, 1,500, $2,000 or so guaranteed. Yeah, I don't have a cord for the phone thing anymore. I have a new mixing board too. What can I do? What can I do? The other problem is the iPhone doesn't have a 1/8 jack, but I think I have an adapter. So we are in game 6 of 6. As you see on the screen down on the bottom right, I'm Mike Flanagan from Inside Bowling. And I'd like to invite you, and I'll let you include 3 or 4 guests to come with you. Invite you and your friends to come over at 6:15 tonight for C Squad. Once you pay for one, you can bring everybody you want to the stream. We'll have 6 games for you tonight. Tom Hess was just chirping at me up here in the booth, said that last game, 10-pin strike, 10-pin strike, 10-pin strike, 10-pin double, 2-pin. Just a reminder, you can save 15% in the brand new InsideBowling.com shop. 15% with coupon code YouTube. That's right. We do have a store now on Inside Bowling. Check it out. Let us know what you think of the look of the new site. High game of the tournament so far was 297. Brent Boho crosses over. The scores right now, I have a question about these pairs. They're just underway in this game, like second frame. Yeah, Colorado Sports TV, there are several different ways to do things with guests. However, what tends to happen is when we try to implement green screen type things, it really bogs down our system resources and can create a catastrophe without testing. So yes, there are ways, and we could probably explore some of them more. But 5 camera inputs, replay running in the background in case something crazy happens, and our graphics and soundboard and everything coming into this machine. It's some MacBook Pro 2016 edition. We use Wirecast and a Blackmagic Studio and an Audio-Technica back channel and a Mackie soundboard and Audio-Technica wireless mics and Audio-Technica headsets, for those of you that were wanting to know. And then we also use Blackmagic mini converters, HDMI to SDI and component to SDI. All ran through an Apple MacBook. Nick Heilman with 3 in a row now. Brent Boho goes Brooklyn Light Mixer. I'm sorry, that was not Brent Boho. Sorry about that. That was our man, Mr. Doge. How you doing, man?
Good to see you.
You too, brother. They're high-fiving like it's a college tournament down there, these guys. It's 40 after the hour. This game will conclude in about 15 minutes, and then we will be back at 6:15 Central. will be very interesting to see the amount of re-entries tonight, if it does end up filling. Yep. The old light mixer. What are you at, like 64? 68? And you finished the first? And the first squad you finished at what? 80?
Expensive practice session. But I learned some things from going into tomorrow.
Yeah.
Lane's played quite a bit different this squad with the extra work.
Really?
Didn't matter that much, but I would say it did.
Lanes played different.
Better didn't hold up near as long. Might have been more nice than urethane. Watching first squad.
Tom Hess was just giving me some insight. He's bowled both squads today. He said that the lanes transitioned a lot different on this squad with the extra bowler. Yeah, we'll post A and B squads after this squad. We'll have them up. Tom, you throwing a ripped? You like it?
Basically the same thing I did last week. I started the Ferris phobia out. And they really carried down and really started laboring. So I switched to the diesel to stay out. Because the diesel's just a little bit earlier and had a little more pop just doing it early. I fought that for too long and then I went last game I went to the ripped. Went 10 pin, 10 pin. Changed to the vertic curl because it's a little sooner and tried to get the pins a little better. And then this one was the vertic curl was, I don't know if you saw the first two shots, but they were really, really good. And I just hit too hard. So I needed it to be a little cleaner on this pair. It seems to be working.
Okay. Tom's gone through about a 5-ball progression. Huh?
Or the scores this one.
No, you're good. So Tom has finished at 80 over the first time around, re-entered. He was 140 over after 3 earlier today. He's been up here chatting with me a little bit, telling me about his transition, how he was fighting transition. He can still shoot 267 the last game, and that would get him to about 120 over. He's got a really good ball reaction. I kind of feel like showing you guys his ball reaction. As soon as I do, though, you know what's going to happen. It's going to be nasty. I'll end up getting the black cloud. Yeah, he just saw me move the camera, and he's talking about it already, that I'm jinxing him. I'm actually going to give you guys a little bit of a different angle with this. You're not going to be able to see the approach as much. You're just going to see the ball go down the lane and the pins. So it's just going to be a completely different kind of look that I don't normally show. So. Here's a look at that angle. Zoomed in a little bit more. A chance to see ball reaction. Hess will be up in a minute. He's actually on the approach right now. Here, I'll go there. It's on 17. That's his bowling ball. Yep, it's my fault. We knew that was going to happen. He had just gone light mixer back to back. And then through the face. God, these kids are good. Man, those balls hit hard. See you, Matt. Eric Smith on lane 20 is difficult to see how he's doing because the monitor up there doesn't work. I'll see what I can do. Ever since I put the camera on Hess, I've only shown him one time, but he went through the face, and then a 3-pin, and now a wrap 10. So. We have 6 more games coming up tonight. 6:15, C Squad will hit the lanes. Back tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. for another 6 games. And then we'll come back to you again on Sunday afternoon for the stepladder finals with the modified bracket that we do here at this event. Glad you're with us, glad you're watching, glad you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. Thanks for hitting the like button down below. That helps us out. Really do appreciate that. As well as we appreciate you checking out our new merchandise shop on InsideBowling.com. And we do have that coupon code on there to save 15% with code YouTube on the InsideBowling.com shop. See if we got a standings update after 5 games, which we do. Updated 3 minutes ago. Rob Amers is your new tournament leader at plus 129. Chad Moss sits second at plus 128. Greg Young is in third at plus 112. Fourth, Chad Nelson at plus 98. Cameron Doyle is fifth at plus 94. Mitch Houpe sixth at plus 92. Sean Rangel seventh at plus 79. That 250 game you saw him bowl here helped him out a lot. Andy Bulow sits in eighth at plus 76. Alex Martin in ninth at plus 74, and Tom Hess in 10th at plus 68. Earlier on the squad, just to give you an idea on the A squad, we had 4 bowlers finish at 100 over or more. 101, 104, 106, 110. That was Michael Coffey, Quentin Bolin, Troy Fuller, and Kenny Calkins III. So on this squad, it looks like with 3 bowlers over 100, being Rob Amers at 129, Chad Moss at 128, and Greg Young at 112, and Chad Nelson knocking on the door, I would guess 4 or 5 players are going to be 100 over on this squad. And we are 2 subscribers away from 10,600, which is pretty cool. And Brent Boho is loving him some Cadillac lanes. The new and improved Cadillac lanes known as Cadillac XBC, Extreme Bowling Center. There's some clean living, a little pat on the back. Tom Hess has struck out for 211, and he's going to finish at plus 79 on this squad. And folks, get ready for what I would call a little bit of a laugh here. Tom Hess earlier today finished at plus 80. So he bowled plus 79 on this squad, plus 80 on the last squad. That means if he bowled C squad and re-entered again, he would bowl 78 over. That's what that tells me. Let's see, catching up on the chat. How's Eric Smith on lane 20? Yeah, I still I really can't get a good look at that. How many they taking tonight, Mike? Well, 2 on a lane, and we're in a 36-lane bowling center, so they would take 72. Actually, they're not using 1 and 2, so they would take 68. They would take 68 players. So I don't think they have 68 for tonight. Probably around 50-something. So depending on re-entries. This squad has taken 3 hours and 9 minutes, roughly. And Call666 says, Mike, I hope you are getting paid for your awesome coverage and all the time that you put into this. Very long hours for you. Well, hey, thanks. Yeah, I mean, I get paid to do this. There's no question. I mean, there's some monetary value in doing it. But when you break it down by the hour, I don't know, I'm probably making $10 or $12 an hour at this. By the time you factor in travel and archiving footage. But the big thing that this platform does for me is it gave me a name in the bowling industry. You know, my on-air personality and my time spending with you guys and stuff, you know, people recognize that. People also recognize hard work, and you can see from, you know, camera angles that are centered, decent graphics, picture-in-picture, promoting the tournament on social media, knowing who I'm talking to, seeing that the players will come up and sit in the booth, all those things, people say, wow, this, you know, for the most part, this guy has a pretty good operation built. You know, as long as you can put up with some of my humor here and there and my personality, you know, there's some I Hate Mike Flanagan club members out there, and I get that. That's fine. No problem. I get it. Nobody's perfect, you know. I'm sure I haven't handled something properly with someone probably that's watching right now, and you're probably saying, yeah, you're right, pal. And I'm sorry. I mean, but for the most part, this thing here has been a launching vehicle for me to be able to do other things in the industry, to be able to stay in the industry, make a living. And for that, I'm eternally grateful for what this is. And, you know, I really do like this YouTube thing, and I really would like to get to 100,000 subs at some point in time. That would be just amazing to me. That would be so cool. So it is a lot of hours, though. You're right. But I can handle it. I'm a big boy, even though sometimes I'll complain to the people closest to me about it because I'm exhausted. I still sit here and bring you action and typically don't walk away from the booth and say, enjoy a full game of coverage with no commentary. I'll catch you on the other side. I usually don't do that. If I ever do that, it's because there's a problem. The problem could be I just really don't feel well and I'm about to pass out. Problem could be I ate something that didn't agree with me. Yes, and I just went there. But I haven't had that happen yet. Because when I'm out on the road, it's kale salad for every meal. Kale salad. So, but I'll tell you, the merch shop is a big deal. Because here's the thing. If you want to see more coverage, if I notice on my live streams that merch shop does a whole bunch of sales, I'm probably going to be a little bit more motivated to go out and stream some more. I mean, because there's not much money in actually streaming. So make me stream every weekend. Show me that you want more of this through supporting the merch shop. I mean, if I came here and we did 1,000 orders this weekend, and then next week without streaming I did 5 orders, what do you think I'm going to start looking to do all the time? I mean, come on. It's human nature. Seriously. Whoa, look at that bird dog messenger over there. I'm just being real. Catch 22. That's funny. I want I Hate Mike Flanagan t-shirt. That's not a bad idea. That's really not a bad idea. I might make that. Put it on my shop. Honestly, one of the best in the business. Hey, you know, you don't hang out with me on a regular basis. You don't see my mood swings. I'm an on-air personality, and I stay pretty chipper on here. But I'm a human just like everybody else, and I have bad days, and I get frustrated, and I get angry. But for the most part, I try to look at everything on the bright side, and I laugh instead of being angry. There are times that it's just an awful day, and all I'm doing is just laughing because I don't know what else to do. All right. Well, it just got awfully dark in here, and I just got awfully deep on you guys. So I think that is a really good opportunity to go ahead and say goodbye. Let's go to this shot because this is my booth cam shot that I moved, and I'm not going to move it right now because there's people in the way. So let's wrap this thing up, everybody. The first thing that's most important before you all leave me is to say thanks that you joined me on this broadcast, and all 6 games are now in the books for B Squad. The next thing that is important for me to run down is to tell you that we're going to be back at 6:15, which is in about an hour and 15 minutes, to bring you the next squad. And that will be the final squad of the day. Then we will cut to the top third for Sunday morning at 9:30 in the morning here from Cadillac Lanes. New and improved Cadillac XBC. We'll be back to see how the players do on this 38-foot, 28.53 milliliter, 2.12 to 1 ratio pattern here on this Brunswick Pro-Am Villain synthetic surface. Once again, we couldn't do it without our sponsors that we have here for this event. I'll run through them one final time. First Community National Bank, Infusion Realtors, Ebonite, Waterloo Convention and Visitors Bureau, Budweiser, Kingpin Grill, Logo Infusion, CFNB Mortgage, Isle Hotel and Casino, and of course InsideBowling.com. We have our new InsideBowling.com merchandise shop. We encourage you to look around, save 15% with coupon code YouTube. Really do appreciate you supporting this channel. Appreciate you supporting bowling and being part of what we do here. So I'm going to take a break. I'm going to stop the stream, and I will be back at 6:15 Central Time for a night squad. I hope you join me. If not, and you have other plans, I hope you have a very safe evening. And we will see you either tonight or tomorrow for continuing coverage from Waterloo, Iowa at the Fusion Realtors Community First National Bank Open.